Today, I cut up the sheets from my bed to use as rags so that we can use these pieces to clean small messes instead of using paper towels. I learned 20 years ago from one of my clients in the Midwest to not keep extra sheets, and I'll tell you why. I was doing a consultation for her, and she was having trouble with clutter, and we were looking at her closets, and I asked her where was her bed linens closet, and she told me I don't have one. And I'm like, what? And I was like, you have storage for everything and you don't have a bed linens closet? And she said, no. What I discovered a long time ago is that if I had extra sets of sheets, I would just not wash them. I would strip the bed from the ones that I had just used, and I would put them in a hamper and then forget about them because there were clean sheets on the bed that I had just made. And that wasn't working for me. So one day I decided I would just have one set of sheets and I would use that until I was done with it, either because I got bored with it or because they were no longer good. And that way I know that every Saturday or every Sunday in the morning, I strip my bed, launder the sheets, dry the sheets, and I can't go back to bed at night unless I have put them back on the bed. And that means that I don't have dirty sheets in a hamper somewhere that I think I'm going to get to and I don't get to. And in the beginning, I thought that was strange, but then I thought it was a really good idea. And that's what I do for myself now. I just have one set of sheets, and when I'm done with it, I get another one. And so this is cotton. It's a very, very fine, very soft sheets, and I have loved having these. But the other day, as I was making the bed, I pulled on one end, and there was a rip. And so I went and got new sheets. And here's a bit of advice for you. Whenever you replace something in your home, improve it in some way. Either get a color that you love better, get better quality, get a different kind that's better for some reason. And so we took out these cotton sheets and we replaced them with bamboo sheets that work for us better right now. And the other day, a friend was telling me, it's so much work to cut up the king size sheets in these small pieces. I don't know why you do it. You're not going to be saving a lot of money by saving on paper towels. And I told her, well, I don't do it to save money. I do it to honor the people who cultivated the cotton, the people who harvested it, the people who turned that cotton into fabric, the people in the factories that made the sheets. I don't want 1 second of their labor to be wasted. So I want this piece of fabric to be used until there's no longer a use for it. This is almost one sheet in this mason jar. I cut them in small pieces and I put them in the mason jar, and I keep these under the kitchen sink in the cabinet so that when there's small messes that I would usually use a paper towel for, that I can reach for these. I also do have paper towels. I don't deprive myself from having paper towels. By the way, I get my paper towels from a company that does them with bamboo instead of killing trees to make paper towels, because bamboo is an easily renewable, sustainable crop. Now, let me show you one thing that is important. If you, like me, want to honor the people who worked the fields to get you your clothes or your sheets, many times in excruciating heat, right? And so I want to honor the people in India, the people in Vietnam, the people in the Mississippi Delta, and the hard work they put on, but making sure I use this until the end. And I figure in some of those countries, it's mostly women that are working the fields for this. So it's not so difficult. Like my friend was saying, you are there with the scissors cutting the squares. That takes a long time. It doesn't take a long time. If you just make a slit on one end of the sheet, you can just tear it apart really easily. And that's how you get your pieces. Now, you do have to be careful when you tear the sheets. There's these threads hanging, so you do have to pull those off, because if you don't pull them off, it's going to be a pain when you're trying to use those pieces of fabric to clean things. But you can just go, take a piece of fabric and do slits with the scissors in different spots around the size of the rags you want to create, and then you easily tear them up. And so I just cut some slits, right? And then so easy to tear them up. By doing this, I save trees, or I save bamboo trees. And then you just pick them up and pull on the threads so that you end up with clean pieces of fabric that you can use. I want to hear from you. What things do you do to be more mindful in the care of your home and to be more mindful about how you use things? How do you honor the people that work so hard for you to have nice things at home?